Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my Medium demo. This is part 2 of how to use Medium for conservatives, although this demo really isn't limited to conservatives. Anyone should be able to use Medium. It's a great publishing platform, and I loved it. If you haven't watched part 1, I know it's a bit long, but there's a lot to cover in there. So if you haven't watched part 1, go back and watch that. If you're done with part 1, or if you took a break and decided to come back to watch part 2, then this is for you. So let's get right down to it. So in part 1, I talked about how to use Medium. I gave an overview of what it is, and I created an example post and basically described all of the features that you could do in terms of posting. Now I want to go back real quick to one of the posts that I created. The demo post for this YouTube series I created. I want to explain something. I want to cover something called highlights and recommendations. So that's what I'm going to do now. So this morning when I woke up, I checked Medium and saw that Mr. Jack Gerard, who's actually the conservative kind of editorial manager of Medium.com, he recommended my article demo of Medium for my YouTube channel. He recommended that. So what it means when you recommend something is it's basically like when you like something on Facebook or when you retweet on Twitter. The more likes you get on an article on Medium, or I should say the more recommends you get on a Medium article, the more people will be able to view that. The idea is that more and more people recommend your article, and therefore more and more people see your article, read it, share it with others. It gets more exposure, the whole 9 yards. So Jack recommended this article, and I'm really glad he did. But then Jack also, if you scroll down here, he also did something that I want you to take note of. I didn't really explain this in the last part 1, but in Medium there are things that you can do as a reader called highlight. And what that means basically is if you're reading an article and you come across a particularly meaningful passage, or section, you can literally highlight it and it will turn in green, and then you can comment on it, or you can highlight it and quote it. It's really cool. Let me kind of give you an example. So if I wanted to, I know this is my own article, but if I wanted to, let's say I want to highlight this, I can go ahead and it gives me the option to highlight it, to comment on it, or to tweet it, or to tweet a link. So let me go ahead and tweet this. It's going to give an excerpt and it's going to highlight it. So as you can see, I just highlighted that. Let's say I want to unhighlight it though, for whatever reason. And then let me go back to another profile that I like, to another post. that I bookmarked. Okay. So this is an interesting article. So I really like this. I really like this article on Charles C.W. Cook and his intellectualism of conservatism. Um, so I'm going to I'm going to highlight this section. Cook, like Rand Paul, has the courage to go where others might not. And it just highlighted, but it didn't allow me to. This is weird. I should be able to. That's weird. Sometimes Medium gets finicky like this, where you have to highlight backwards instead of forward. I don't know why, but obviously you can see that I can highlight it. I can make a response, and I can tweet. Now, if I respond to it, it brings up the editor, and I can basically start writing an article. For right now, though, I'm just going to highlight it. So that's what a highlight is on Medium, and it's super, super important that you guys use this, and it's really awesome too. In fact, I'm going to tweet this out too, just because it's so great. So I just did that, as you can see. So those are highlights. If I wanted to, I could respond and say, great. Article. I couldn't agree more. Okay, so I published that, and yeah, now I have a response there, so that's how you respond. It's pretty neat. Now, there is another thing I want to show you. This is pretty cool. And last night I stated that Medium is kind of like a giant magazine, and that's kind of true, but it's basically like a publishing platform where you can create like a magazine within a bigger magazine. And what I mean by that is I can do things like start my own publication and kind of start my own blog on here, so to speak, that other people can contribute to. So what I'm going to do with that is go to publications, and then right here you can see I contribute to 2 publications. One is called The National Conservative, and the other is called Whitfield Analysis. Just to show you what an existing publication looks like, I'm going to show you The National Conservative. So this is the homepage of The National Conservative. Kind of looks like a website / blog. You can see I have this headline image here that I created. The National Conservative, an op-ed publication, an op-ed and news publication by conservatives exclusively on Medium. You can see all my articles here that I've created. And then those are the featured articles that I have up here. And then for the latest, you can see that I have all these other posts up here. Or down here, I should say. And then I have an about section with more information on what the National Conservative is, and social media links to the Facebook and Twitter page. If I click on more information, you can see who the editorial staff is. I'm the editor at large. We have a couple writers here. And pretty much you can add any writer that is here on Medium, and it's great. But what about when I want to start a new publication of my own? Well, Medium is great because you can start up to you can start up to 7 publications of your own, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So to start a publication, you just go to your profile icon on Medium, click on Publications. It'll bring you to this screen. You just click on the button that says New Publication, and when you click on that, it'll bring you up with this list. It's kind of a blank slate. So you can say optional heading, optional description, and it will bring up, and then you can also add a header image. Now, I have a header image that I've actually created, so I'm going to click on the little camera icon, which I just did. I'm going to go to blog pictures. I'm going to add this this logo, this Whitfield's Journal header logo that you see right here. I'm going to click open, and it's going to add Whitfield's Journal to the header. Next, I'm going to type in the description. And since this is a new one, let's see. Culture. Actually, I'm going to edit this. Just to put the thoughts and opinions on various subjects from Sam Woolfield. Okay, so, and then I can add that heading, but again, it's optional. But I just figured I'd add that little tag in right there. And okay, so that's my little heading right there, or my little subheading. Like I said, I could add maybe a bigger, I could maybe add an optional heading, but I'm not going to. So to edit the title of this thing, I'm going to put I'm going to name this Whitfield's Journal, and I just clicked that little gear on the side. That you saw pop out. So I click this, I'm editing that. Whitfield's Journal. So that's the title of this. I'm now going to insert the logo I made, the Whitfield Journal logo, and that'll get published up there. Awesome. And then this is important. So see where it says the publication logo will appear on top of the stores in your publication. Okay, this is super important to do because this will be the label for your magazine when you view other articles, and I'll give you an example of what I mean by that once I upload. So we're going to I'm going to insert that, and ooh, that looks pretty small, but for right now, let's click create. Okay, so now to add entries to this publication, let us go back to the Medium homepage, and let's click on the profile button right here. So I just clicked on my profile. We're going to go to drafts and stories, and under the post I already have published, let's select our demo of Medium for my YouTube channel story. Let's select that one. Now, that's already been published. But let's go back to edit and see these 3 squares right here. You can click on these and it's going to give you a couple of different options. One of them you can say add to publication, and now I have 3 options. I have the National Conservative, I have Whitfield's Analysis, and I have Whitfield's Journal. For these purposes, I'm going to select Whitfield's Journal. I'm going to click Add Story to Publication. And then you'll see here, it has in Whitfield's publication. Now, here's what I was afraid of. My logo was too small, so it didn't really come out properly. So you want to make sure you have a 72 by 72 logo, which I do not. It had to condense mine, but basically, that's what that will look like. So I have it in. So now I have it in my own publication, and so now when you click on Whitfield's Journal, what you'll see is, well, you'll still see the blank space, but then what you'll see is, but then what we can do is we can say show more actions. I can edit the post, and then to add featured stories, see the template here allows me to do featured stories. I can click on I'll click on the selected story, and currently the only article we have in this publication is demo of Medium for my YouTube channel. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to press save. And it's still not showing up yet, but I believe if we refresh it, and you'll see here now it does have my story as featured. Okay, so that's basically how publications work. As I said, if we go into publications, this is basically what a full fledged publication with a couple of posts. That's what that looks like. You can see I have a whole bunch of featured posts right here, and this one, the National Conservative, is a lot more stable, but keep in mind we just started that other one a couple minutes ago. So that's how publications work in Medium. Now, if I want to delete a publication, let's discuss that real quick. If I want to delete a publication, I'll go back up to my profile icon, click on it, scroll down here to publications, tap on that, and really, folks, I haven't done anything with Whitfield's Analysis for quite a while, so I want to delete that. And so in order to delete that, I'm going to say edit, and then I'm going to say I'm going to go to the editing of this publication and say delete publication, at which point I can say confirm, are you sure you want to delete the publication? and I do, so I'm going to click yes. And boom, it's gone, and I've just now I only have 2 publications. Alright, so that's how you use highlights and publications in Medium. And in part 3, I'll be showing you how to use Ulysses, the writing app for Mac, to publish to Medium right from your desktop. So stick around for that. We'll be right back for part 3.